Hi everyone, welcome back to the Data Crunch podcast. I'm Vadym, Growth Marketing Manager here at OWAX, and today we're diving into some super practical ways to boost your traffic and sales with Google Analytics 4, or GA4. I know GA4 can seem a bit overwhelming, so we are here to break it down into simple, actionable steps. And to help us do that, I've got Ievgen, our head of marketing, with me. Hey Ievgen, ready to talk GA4?
Hey Vadym, definitely. GA4 is packed with potential if you know where to look. Plus, it provides a good starting point for any analytics strategies going forward. So, let's get into it.
Awesome. Let's talk about some of the very basic tips on how to use GA to increase traffic and sales. What would be the first thing to start?
Well, since I became a marketer, I always think of funnels. So the first thing to explore is not the traffic or sales. It's about what's the path your visitors, your ideal client, should take in order to become your customer.
Great. Funnels. I love it. That doesn't look like the first step people are making in GA, but that's the big deal for any marketer. Understanding their sales funnel, especially if they're not operating some sort of direct funnel like those that are selling digital goods or with ClickFunnels. Let's assume we are in the e-commerce or B2B SaaS.
So we are all familiar with the funnel stages, right? You've got awareness, interest, desire, and then action, the AIDA model, plus maybe even retention afterwards. Or that could be another funnel theory. In any case, you can get this all visualized within GA4. Each of these stages needs a bit of a different approach in terms of channels.
I know GA4 can help getting this funnel, but how exactly?
With GA4, you can use the funnel exploration to see how people move through these stages on your website. It would be awesome to share my screen now, but as most of you guys are listening to us, so I'll try to explain this in the way that you can then go and take the steps without me showing this directly. So you go to the Explore section in GA4 and select the Funnel Exploration tab. Select the steps you want to visualize based on the events you track, like first visit, session start, specific page views, or maybe a purchase event. If you are in the e-commerce niche, you get the product page view, add to cart event, view cart, and then the purchase. The most classic sales funnel for an e-commerce niche. Then you drag your audience segments if you have some, and add the breakdown like first user medium, for example.
Yes, that's pretty easy setup for what you get. Could you explain what is the end result? How to make decisions out of this funnel view?
So basically in less than 1 minute, you get this nice clear view of where users are dropping off or where they're really engaged. You get the funnel conversion rates from stage 1 to stage 2, stage 2 to stage 3, etc. You understand what are the conversion rates at every step of the way and where do you need to improve to reach your business goals. I think GA calls this like a completion rate and abandon rate. Whether it's just not getting enough traffic, but the conversion rate down the line look good, or you need to improve the middle of the funnel, maybe add some retargeting ads and some cart abandoned email, maybe add some testimonial, or you need to simplify the checkout process if you see a huge drop off there. You will know exactly what you are missing and how to get better. For instance, social media and SEO might be great for creating awareness, while email, case studies and testimonials could help build interest or close sales.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about knowing the stages and what is the event that corresponds to them, but actually seeing very clearly how people are moving through the stages in close to real time. That's huge for knowing when to tweak things. I love that. Now, I know GA4 has different reports for tracking visitors, like user acquisition or traffic acquisition reports. They sound a little familiar. Can you explain the difference, please?
Definitely. This can be a little confusing, or it is confusing. The user acquisition report is all about the very first time someone lands on your site. So if someone finds you on Google, that's their initial touch point. And this is very important. By saying someone, we mean a mix of a visitor as a person, plus a device and the browser. So to say, Vadym visiting the website from a mobile phone or from a laptop using Safari would be two different Vadyms in terms of GA. So user acquisition report is about the first user session. And it's all about users, new users, returning users, this kind of details. Then we have the traffic acquisition report, which focuses on the sessions, new or returning. So if a user finds you through Google but later comes back directly by using a link on Facebook, the user acquisition report credits Google for bringing the user in, and the traffic acquisition report shows all of the sessions, so the same user will be counted twice. One would specify Google as a session source, another for Facebook. So traffic acquisition report is about sessions, the number of engaged sessions, etc., not the unique users. That's the way they are different.
Okay, got it. So one is about that first impression, and the other is about the latest touch point, right?
Nope. Basically, the user acquisition report is all about users. Just the main breakdown is by the first traffic source. And you use traffic acquisition report when you want to analyze sessions. If I were building a report based on Google Analytics data using other interfaces, or just using the Explore section, I would try to bring that all together into the same report. But for the standard reports, those are different.
Okay, totally makes sense now. Thank you. So user acquisition report sounds like a great way to figure out what makes people get to the website for the first time, but also to return. But how do I analyze the returning audience? How to make sure they're getting back?
I think the best way is to create a custom audience of returning visitors. So you can go to Configure Audiences, click Create a New Audience, and then select Returning Users as the audience type. Define the number of sessions and time frame for the audience. For example, users who have visited your site more than 2 times in the last 30 days or so. And then you save this audience. So you can use this audience as a filter for any kind of a report. So for example, just filter your traffic acquisition report by adding it to only this audience, and that's it.
Nice. I like it. Because returning visitors usually show brand loyalty, so it's super valuable to know what brings them back. Plus, those are the cheapest clients. You've already paid for acquiring them. On average, that's like 10 to 20 times cheaper than acquiring new clients.
Exactly. It's very important to keep track of things and know what are the best channels, not just overall, but by different audience segments and the funnel stage. For instance, getting your returning customers back to buying more from you, this is very important.
All right. So moving on to conversions, everyone's favorite topic. How can we use GA4 to actually see how people become customers?
In order to figure out how folks are becoming your customer, you need to use the conversion path report. Just the same as with the funnel, you need to go to the Explore section and select the path view. It shows you the exact path users take before converting. For example, if you are in an e-commerce niche, that's about the product page view, then similar or product page view, watching the cart, then checkout, that's it. The cool thing is that you can see that order of the pages that your customer is taking before becoming a client. It's really helpful for figuring out which pages are performing the most in the whole journey.
So this isn't just showing us conversions, it's showing us how they happened. That's super valuable for figuring out where to focus our marketing. But that's about the paths. Is there a way to build the same report with the channels? Like, what's the channel sequence that leads to conversions? If you see that social ads are popping up right before a lot of conversions, you know that's the channel worth investing in. But how to figure this out?
Well, this is the perfect time to talk about the marketing attribution. It's about how to credit the channels all the way down to conversions. For example, if you're running Facebook ad and the folks visiting your website are converting right away, that gives 1 credit to Facebook ads as a traffic source. But if it's a Google ad first, then a Facebook retarget, you have to split that 1 credit between Facebook and Google ads.
Okay, but how to split that credit? What are the rules there?
There is no correct answer here. That's the art and science of marketing attribution. Each business is unique. Each business model is unique. That's why there are so many attribution models out there. First click, last on direct click, linear, U-shaped, time decay, funnel-based. And each of those could and should be customized for every business's unique model.
And can you do all that in GA4?
Unfortunately not. You previously could do this in GA Universal, but now Google is applying its own model, which is called data-driven attribution. It's a machine learning model by Google that credits the sources according to some logic behind that nobody knows. It's like a black box. It's suitable for most businesses, but just until they want to dig deeper into their analytics, until they want to know more about their customers, before they want to invest more into the channel strategy, and so they need to figure out what really drives their conversions on every step of the funnel. And to make those decisions, they really need to compare different models, apply that to their business logic, business model, and figure out which one is the most suitable for them. Or maybe they would decide to use two different attribution models just for different cases, and they want to keep the full control of it.
All right, you've mentioned that it's hard to build those models in GA4 interface. Is there another way to do it?
Yeah, so basically you can use the data that GA4 collects to build those models. You just need to export that data, that GA4 tracking data, into BigQuery. And then you'll be able to apply some SQL to build different models. We at Ovox have a lot of templates for doing this, but there is also a way to do that using your SQL. No complex tools are required here, just the GA4 to BigQuery export and knowledge of SQL. And if you still think whether or not you need to start exporting GA4 data into BigQuery, well, you need, just trust me. We have a video where I explain 8 bold reasons for doing that right now, whether or not you are ready for advanced analytics today.
That's good to know. Thank you. Now let's switch gears a bit. Many businesses, especially in SaaS or education, are using some sort of lead magnets for driving signups and building a list. How can GA4 help us track those? Because that's not the sale. That's just a starting point in the journey.
So lead magnets, things like ebooks, guides, templates, those are fantastic to bring leads. In GA4, you can track how well these magnets are working by using event tracking. You just need to set up a custom event for actions like downloads or form submissions, so you can see how many people are actually opting in. And then you back to the funnel exploration we've discussed in the very beginning and put that event as a funnel step after the page view.
Oh, I like that. So we're taking our best content and turning it into something people can download, and then we track it so we know exactly which ones are driving the most leads. It's smart.
Exactly. It's all about giving some value to your audience for free, but then measuring what works best so you can optimize the funnel and convert them.
All right, now let's talk about a situation we all dread, a drop in conversion rates. How can GA4 help us figure out what's going on if conversions suddenly dip? How to keep track of things, compare different periods, etc.?
Yeah, it's tough when you see those numbers go down, but GA can help you here a lot. It's probably not the most user-friendly way to do it, but still. So you've already built the conversion path report I've mentioned. You can now go to it. You can now start comparing it over different time periods like 28 days, my favorite, or by month, or weeks, or each 10 days, to spot any changes in user behavior. Look at things like traffic sources, maybe there's been a drop in one channel, or check if there were any website changes around at the same time. You can even look into specific dimensions like device type or location, if that's what matters for your business. And by doing this, you get a clearer idea of where the dip is happening. Just an important note here. You can compare 2 periods side by side, but you cannot compare more, like 3, or just put things monthly or weekly. If you need that level of details in your reports, and I use that every day, for example, you need the GA4 BigQuery export I've mentioned earlier. You need to make your data accessible by a language that data understands, SQL. And that allows you to build possible or impossible reports you would like to get to make business decisions you need and optimize your growth.
Okay, so GA4 isn't giving us that why too often, right?
Yeah, basically GA doesn't. It's a great tracking tool. Plus it's free. You don't have to pay a penny for using it unless you have really lots of traffic. But it's very limited. It's very helpful when you're just starting out for making quick adjustments. If you want to dig into the details and know exactly where to make changes for growth, you would want to build a solid analytics system. You will need to go beyond the GA4 interface quickly. You can still use it for collecting data, I just want you to understand that you need to make your data truly yours by putting that into a data warehouse so you can then analyze them.
That's good to know. Now, I know tracking organic keywords has gotten a bit trickier with all the recent privacy changes. In the past, we could easily see which keywords were driving traffic, but now a lot of that data is hidden or shows up as not provided. Any tips on how we can still get valuable insights on what's working organically, even with those limitations?
It's definitely tougher now, especially if you compare to another Google's tool, Search Console. But there is a little trick. So you can go to GA4 Traffic Acquisition Report, filter for organic traffic only, and then add the landing page plus query string as a dimension. And you will see some of those pages and query strings driving conversions. Then you just select the top converting ones and hop back to Google Search Console to explore those queries in details. But you will stay without the direct connection of that query string and the converted session. So it's a bit of a workaround, but it lets you see which pages are putting in organic traffic and then sales or conversions. And you will see the keywords. You just won't be able to analyze them in the level of detail you would like to.
Okay, love it. So we can still optimize content based on which pages are performing best, even without a direct connection to keywords. Nice workaround.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about using the tools we have. We live in the privacy era, and let's just say thank you, Google, for having those opportunities, because we may lose them shortly.
Yes, exactly. We've recorded a podcast about privacy and server-side tracking a few weeks ago, so you can also check it out if you want to learn more about privacy and what to expect in this post-cookie world. All right, moving on. For those of us marketers using multiple ad platforms, not just Google Ads, ad spend is not available in Google Analytics. So we have the conversion data there, but how to get the ROAS calculated? How can we get a full view of our ad spend and performance in GA4?
Oh, it's a great question. Well, first of all, you probably would not get the full view. If you're running ads across platforms, you can import ad costs from non-Google sources into GA4. This way you can compare all of your advertising efforts side by side. Like Google ads are going to be separate, and then Facebook ads, Twitter ads, LinkedIn ads, all those types of ads are going to be separate. And if you want to make it super easy, AWOX can automate this process for you, saving time and reducing the risk of errors. And from what I've recently heard, GA4 doesn't require the UTM ID or the campaign ID to be filled for 100% of the campaigns as it was previously.
All right, yeah, that makes budget allocation so much easier for businesses.
Now look, Google Analytics is a tracking platform. It's not the best out there visualization tool for any marketing or business use case. So you would get a way better view of the overall performance if you get all of the data inside BigQuery and then map it all using SQL and visualize in Google Sheets or Looker Studio. We have all of the templates for the dashboards and required SQL available. When you start being serious about your analytics, that helps you get the best return on the ad spend by making smarter budget decisions. Yes, you can do that in GA4, but better do that in BigQuery, Sheets, or Looker Studio.
Great stuff so far. Now you mentioned that GA4 can be even more powerful when we blend it with data from other sources. Can you walk us through how combining data from different platforms actually help us make better decisions?
Yeah, so basically that's exactly what we've been talking about when mentioning building advanced analytics in BigQuery plus Sheets or BigQuery in Looker Studio. So when you connect the dots between the ad spend and the revenue, and that's exactly what Google does when you load the expenses over there, between specific keywords and ads with the final conversions. So basically that's what blending is all about. Blending gives you the ability to see a complete view of your performance. Or for example, when combining GA4 tracking data and the ad spend with information from the CRM systems about the real orders, not just only the online conversions, plus email marketing, plus other tools. You get a full picture of the customer journey when you put this all together in one bucket and then analyze it correctly. With blended data or merged data, you can create custom dashboards that will let you drill down into what really matters.
Absolutely. This has been fantastic, Ievgen. Thanks for breaking it all down. And to everyone listening, if you're ready to start optimizing your analytics, check out OXBI. Start a free trial at ox.com, and don't forget to subscribe to the Data Crunch podcast for more insights. I look forward to seeing you in our future episodes.
Thanks, Vadym, and thanks everyone for tuning in today. Remember, GA4 isn't just for tracking numbers. It's for understanding your audience better and driving better business results and growth. So, I'll see you next time.